do.
No,
They
I
never
really
do
enjoyed that,
stuff.
Sally. I loved how at the end of the conversation you were like, "Well, this has been fun, but this horse face needs to go to bed. I'm tired. I'm over all of it."
Oh no, the best part. This is what she said. I remember she said something. She's like, "Well, you are someone that you're okay." I got let me remember this. Okay, hold on. She was so we were talking about the Russell Brand stuff, and she just could not
Mhm.
understand. I never changed my position. She's like, "You have changed your position." I'm like, "No, it's still the same." And it would be she said something about a horse face. She's like, well, oh, after I decided to go to bed, then this lady's like, well, yeah, you probably need to go back to your barn and take your ivermectin
Hey,
and and like Joe Rogan. I'm like, yeah, I did actually, and I am very healed from it. I'm so glad I did. And she just, yeah, it was more to it, but it was funny. It was funny as hell.
Well,
people
when
are
they
so.
resort to ad hominem attacks, you realize that if they can't attack the substance of your argument, they've already lost. That's kind of the
Mm-hmm.
problem.
Well, they always come back. That's when you know. Yeah, exactly. When they start just the calling you names or calling you crazy or saying, "Oh, that's a great comeback. You have anything else?" Like they have nothing of substance to offer.
Yep. Twitter is a cesspool, and I sometimes I get way too involved because it can just be a little bit entertaining to troll people gently, mildly. They kind of when they keep responding to you, when they keep wanting to interact with you. But to pivot a little bit, I was just curious. All of this like false allegation stuff has come up just since you mentioned Russell Brand, Sally, and Lady Law. I was just curious how all of you guys are because there have been so many stories. And Lady Law, I'm not sure if you were following anything with like the Trevor Bauer case
I
or
watched the
anything like
video
that.
the other day.
I was just curious about your thoughts if you had anything that you wanted to contribute.
Yeah, I think women like that give the rest of us a bad name. And then, if you're Sally, are you married or you have a significant other, right?
Yes, yes.
I think like it makes it harder for those of us that are older and maybe not married to go out into the dating market because you have women that do that. So you might have a good person. I mean, I look at myself as kind of a good person, kind of, when it
Kind
comes
of.
to like morals and being a loyal person, all those things, right? I would never intentionally go after somebody for money or for whatever they can offer me as far as financially. Like that's just not something I'm interested in. Like I'll make my own money, which I guess sounds a little bit like feminism. I don't know, but um, I just think it makes it hard for the rest of us to date or to get into any kind of long term relationship.
Because men are sour. Men are watching all
Yes.
this and they're sour. It's like I would rather eat glass and all this stuff than date, a woman. I'll be single. I will just ride away into the sunset and I
Yep.
will live on a farm by myself all alone. Goal accomplished. You've
Yep.
destroyed the family unit. No one wants to have babies. Nobody wants to reproduce. You're destroying the family unit.
I think some people just shouldn't reproduce anyway, but it's just.
True.
Well, some of them
I
choose
also
not to,
think
and
social
they deserve
media,
that.
social media has had an effect on it too. I think, you have these women who are just, I'm part of this group on Facebook. I don't know if you guys have this where you live, but it's called Are We Dating the Same Guy?
Oh
And
God.
the men that these women are tripping over, I'm just like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why, if they have like, okay, this is me judging. Sorry, guys, if you only have 3 teeth in the chat, but these guys have like 3 teeth. They're like 500 pounds. Ew. Okay. Like, I'm not going to be attracted to that, to each their own. But these women are like torn up, but that these women are also just throwing themselves at whatever comes their way. And then they're just recycled. You know what I mean? I don't know.
It's kind of sad.
It's incredibly
I know that,
sad.
but you both are mothers, and I don't know if you both have sons.
I
Huh?
do. I have 2 boys.
So that's the thing that I mean, I'm not a parent yet. I would love to be a mother soon. But but before I get to that point, I keep seeing all of these cases. You see these young men who are falsely accused, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and I had this conversation the other day, and I made kind of like a slightly controversial tweet. I put this thing out there because Matt Walsh had been discussing this whole thing, and it's kind of heavy, but it's the subject of, we're talking about false allegations versus the experience of sexual assault. And, comparing the two, saying, is one, more more taxing to go through, more difficult. I had somebody come in and say, well, I have a child who went through sexual assault, which was, really awful to hear. But that person didn't really have the empathy for the experience of, if you have a son and he's falsely accused of something, how horrifying that is, because there are all of these feminists out there who like to, engage in this refrain that false allegations don't happen that often and they're not that big of a deal, but they do happen. They happen to men like Saif Khan, who I interviewed yesterday. That's a real person who has parents, who has a mother and a father who were, up at night, unable to sleep, worried sick about their son who might be sentenced to 40 years in prison for what happened to him. I mean, I can't imagine having a son, in this world right now, considering all of the false allegations. I'm just wondering, if you have any thoughts on that or anything to contribute that you, in particular, want to share as mothers.
Go ahead, Sally. I'll let you.
Let me go first. As far as false allegations goes, I guess for me as a parent, I've had this conversation with my son since the time where I thought he might be, mom shouldn't have the sex talk with your boys, but I had the sex talk with my boys of like, you, especially when he got close to being 18, I'm like, you cannot date someone under the age of 18, no matter what. I says, because the parents can go, they can charge you with statutory rape. You go to prison and I can't do anything about it. And the parents, once they said, oh no, never mind, we were just mad, can't change their minds. So I've always had the conversation with him that, which I shouldn't have to have this conversation. You need to make sure that you somehow record her giving you consent. You need to somehow make it publicly known and have evidence that she gave you consent for doing anything. So, I mean, I've told him that since he was 16.
Then you kind of worry about like, what kind of liability would there be for any kind of recording without, somebody knowing.
Right, because in some states you have to have the two-party consent kind of thing.
In some states, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, cover your ass, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
the fact that we've gotten there. I mean, the fact that we have to like have, like evidence in case there's a crime for like every sexual encounter. I mean, that's really terrifying. I can't imagine what that must be like.
Well, it's also educating your sons too, that if you're drinking alcohol and you have sex with the woman who's drinking alcohol, she is not in the right mind to give you consent. So you're having alcohol and you want to be frisky. You have to refrain. You have to remove yourself from the situation, because if you were to have sex and you were drinking, that could be considered rape. Like, depending if the person was mad or had that regret the next day.
Regret in the morning. Yeah.
Right. The landscape has changed so significantly. And I just feel like there's this really strange thing that has happened. When I was in college, so like the guy that I interviewed yesterday, Saif Khan, we were in college at the same time. We're like kind of the same age. And when I was in school, it wasn't really like this necessarily. It was kind of starting to be like this. But they started this whole thing with Title IX, basically. They changed the standard. So like, let's say that something happens on campus at somebody's college. And Sally, I know your son just, went to college, and I hope that he has an incrable time. I hope he gets
no. I did not send him to college.
Problems or, oh, you didn't?
I just sent him out of the house.
Oh. No, I sent him to trade. No, I sent him to trade school. He's got one more week and he'll be a welder. I didn't
actually. The most intelligent thing a parent can do. You don't have to go to college.
That's safer. That's safer, because if he's not going to college, then he's not dealing with, this university Title IX bullshit, which, like, it lowers the standard. So, like, if there's a bad situation and, like, the girl has, sex with the guy and she's drunk and then she regrets it the next day or he hurts her feelings, she can just go to the office and be like, well, he raped me. And they'll be like, well, if there's more than a 50% chance, if we don't like the guy, if everybody wants him to be kicked out of the school, then we're just going to kick him out, right? Like, it's so messed up. And it's just... I think that started in 2012, and that was like right before I got into school, but it's really problematic because I feel like it fosters an environment where we don't really understand what assault is anymore. Do you know what I mean?
No, I think we know what assault is. I think people actually know what assault is. It's like people believe, it's like the whole Me Too thing where it's believe all women. No, it's believe all evidence. Like, it destroyed everything. So, and it destroyed men and women now can't get justice. If you've been physically, sexually assaulted, And now it's like, well, we don't know if we should believe you again. Like it's kind of like swinging back again the other way to the extreme where it's like, why can't we find the middle? Why can't we just prosecute people on evidence, due process?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, when I say that we don't really know what assault is, I mean like what I'm seeing sort of like with Gen Z in particular is that they have this sort of notion that it's just kind of different than it used to be. It's sort of like, well, if I regret it later, or if I get my feelings hurt, if I consent in the moment, but then I decide later that it didn't feel so good, then that amounts to assault. And for me, I find that really problematic because that does not really gel with the legal definition necessarily.
That's exactly it.
So the problem is that it's a very serious crime, but we have situations where, these young people are not taking responsibility for putting themselves in certain situations. Like, I mean, if you look back on your youth, maybe you had kind of like a wild time in college, and maybe you did some things that you regretted, or maybe you slept with somebody who wasn't very nice to you, or maybe you didn't feel good about it the next day. You learn from those experiences, right? Like, I feel like we're just there is so much of like this victim culture where everybody has to be a victim of everything all the time, and nobody can ever just say, you know what, I put myself in that situation, I had sex with that person, I regretted it later, and it was largely my choice. It's not the same as somebody hurting you, or not, or going against your consent, but we really are victimizing a lot of young people and teaching them that it's okay to victimize themselves.
Yeah.
Is it victimizing, or is it evil mean girls, right? You took away my car, or you did something to my car, so now I'm going to destroy your life. Like, I think both are right, but is there more to it? Does that make sense? Is it just the mean girl destroying someone because, hey, girls are mean. They can destroy someone.
Well, that's a part of it. What do you think, Lady Law?
I mean, I agree both ways. I mean, that's all I got.
That's all you got to say about that.
Well, maybe it's a heavy topic, but I keep thinking about this because meeting this guy who was falsely accused yesterday.
I mean, it just.
Oh God, it was one of it's one of my favorite streams that I've done, mostly because I feel like this is a subject that I've really been passionate about. But just like looking at his case, I mean, this guy was he was falsely accused. He was acquitted, and it was very clear that the girl who accused him lied. There was physical evidence of that. She claimed that I think the biggest thing in his case, she claimed that she hadn't had sex with anybody for 6 months until she hooked up with him. They did a rape kit on her. They showed no evidence of trauma, but they did show evidence of another male's DNA in a different orifice of her body.
Oh, no.
So that was a lie. The lie detector test determined that was a lie. She said that she was drunk and that she had rum and coke. He had been with her the whole night. They didn't even serve rum and coke at the event. It was just wine and beer. She claimed that he had sent messages from her phone. She made all of these claims about all of these things. It was very easily proven. All of these lies were easily proven.
Did they have any kind of history? Like, had they dated or anything like that?
They had been flirting back and forth, and she sent him Shakespearean sonnets, and she was very interested in him. Okay. There was a video of them walking down the street together to their dorm after this event. They went to dinner, they went to a party, and she invited him back to her dorm, and they had consensual sex. The whole thing was, look, I wasn't there. I don't know exactly what happened. But apparently, she wanted to kind of be exclusive with him, and he didn't want that. He admitted, he was like, I'm kind of a slut. Like I'm a little bit.
But he had a girlfriend at home. He was just playing the field. He had a girlfriend, so he's not from this country. He had a girlfriend back home in his country. He was being a college boy that goes out and humps everything, right? And she was mad because she finds out about this girlfriend. At least that's what I understood from the interview.
Well, she knew about the girlfriend because she had a class with her, and he had talked to her on the phone, and she spoke to her on the phone. Like, she was aware of the situation. I think that she might have thought that she could win him over, and unfortunately she wasn't able to.
Can we just stop with that as well? Like, if a guy tells you that this is, what I want, and I don't want a relationship, and I don't want this, and this, like, just believe him. And if it's not what you want, like, move on. Like, let's do that.
I
Yes.
mean, being a fuckboy does not deserve 40 years in prison. Like, just because he was kind of a dick. Like, he was maybe a little bit of a dick. I'll admit that. But, you know, I mean, in college, maybe you don't make your best choices. Maybe you're kind of selfish and you're kind of rude to people. There are all these, you know, cute girls throwing themselves at you. I find it heavily and highly and overwhelmingly problematic because, you know, it's an impossible situation for him because he was acquitted, and after he was acquitted, he was fully acquitted. The jury did not believe her. They found huge credibility issues. There were Brady issues up the ass with the whole. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. There were lots of Brady issues with the case. They did not introduce evidence. They kept evidence, from the defense, and it turned out that the jury just did not believe her. But then there was this petition started, and 77,000 Me Too warriors wanted to keep him from coming back onto campus, even though he had been acquitted.
Wow.
And he won $110 million, right? Did he win
Well, no, he has not won his lawsuit. He is currently suing Yale for $110 million
already.
He was acquitted, and then he was kicked out. After that, they expelled him. They held their own quasi-judicial hearing based on this committee that they put together. And even though he had gone through a criminal trial and been acquitted and exonerated, they put him in this situation. Yale basically just decides, well, we're better than the law. We're better than the criminal court system, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of a problem with the Ivies.
Something for chat, real quick. I want to make clear: we're not talking about girls who have bad experiences with guys that legitimately have had something happen, because that's tragic and that's traumatic and that's bad. We're just talking about this situation of women who don't have that happen, that falsely accuse and are attacking men, if that makes sense. Or trying to take it cleaner. So someone's talking in chat. I want to make sure that they understand we're not victim shaming, because this stuff, it does happen, and it's horrible. It's that the ones who lie about it destroy our system. They make it so people don't get justice. It destroys it makes everything not work. And that's more what we're talking about, not victim shaming.
No, absolutely. And I think that there's a really important distinction to be drawn from that. I would never and could never shame a victim for anything. I myself am a survivor of sexual assault 2 times over, and I tried to go through the court system and I wasn't able to get justice. So that's where I stand. But, I'm very sensitive to what people experience in assault situations. And like I said, with this case, I wasn't there. I wasn't in the room with them, and I don't know what happened. But I have read through pretty much all of the court transcripts. I've seen, the documented evidence associated with the case that is, filed with the court. And I very strongly believe that she lied, because it's right there. And that's a problem. So when you have, very clear evidence that women are being dishonest, it does make it worse for survivors, because it makes it harder to be believed. And it's a really sensitive topic, and it's a really difficult challenge, but it's something that I think we need to talk about, because I have a lot of empathy for men who are falsely accused, and I think that it can ruin your life in a way that is not exactly the same as an assault, but it can be similar, sort of. It can be, it can follow you for the rest of your life. And the problem is that even when you're exonerated in court, people will still believe the worst allegation about you. Somebody can just open.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to follow him for the rest of his life. It's the same thing with the baseball player. I can't remember his name.
With Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, I mean, that's something you can't get back. Those years that you've spent fighting this, he can't get that back.
No, I mean, did you see
be a heinous person?
The girl who basically, for anybody who doesn't know about the Trevor Bauer case, he's a baseball player. He played with the Dodgers. He was worth $51 million at a certain point, and this woman named Lindsay Hill decided that he would be a really good mark. And apparently it was kind of known that he was into kinky sex, so she thought that if she could hook up with him and get him to choke her, that she could accuse him of assaults and take him for several $1,000,000. This whole idea that, you can sacrifice whatever little shred of dignity that you probably don't even have, because you accuse a guy and he wants the whole thing to go away. So even though he didn't really do it, he'll just fork over his money because it would look really bad for him. I watched an interview with her, and it was really interesting. I went on Chrissy Mayer's podcast, and we watched this whole interview that she had done a couple of hours before. I had no idea she had done this interview. You got this lady saying things like, like next victim. I just need daddy to choke me. There was lots of text evidence that was not introduced at trial. That it was
Wow.
very clear and overt and obvious. I mean, you saw this, right?
I mean, I haven't seen that, but are you talking about like an interview that she did?
No, it was the video that he had done. It was about like a four
Oh,
minute
that he
long
did.
video,
Yes, I did.
and
I did see
he
that.
showed like the snippets of the text messages that she
Yes,
had
I did see
sent.
that.
Yeah.
Did
So
you
she
see
did
her
this
interview?
interview. Yeah, I did. I
Well,
watched it. We were just. What did you think of that? Because I had feelings. I had thoughts.
I was disgusted.
liar. Liar is what I had to say about it. Disgusting. Liar.
Does she seem traumatized? Does she seem like she's talking about the worst thing that ever happened to her?
No, she was obfuscating. She was dodging
Right?
all the questions. She was trying to make an excuse of, oh well, she was trying to make it sound like it did happen, even though it was proven and they settled that it didn't happen. But she's still trying to come across as this person that's still a victim. But I'm sure there's got to be something where she can't defame him now. So I don't know, she tiptoed a lot. You could tell that she was lying out her butt.
You'll have to send that to me. I haven't seen her. I haven't seen that.
It's on my post, my
I
thread. I'll send it to you.
Cool.
I'd love to bring it up. We could watch it. But it's really irritating. You kind of she has a very punchable face. Not that
You
I'd ever
should,
punch
because
somebody
everybody
in the
else
face.
here doesn't know what we're talking about. If you have the clip, you should let people see it for themselves. I think they would.
I
Like
would
to
love to bring it up. So you know how I had that audio problem before?
Yes.
I had to switch over to a different browser, and now
Okay.
that I'm in Firefox, Firefox doesn't let me share windows. So
Yes.
that's the problem I'm dealing with. However, if you have something you want to bring up, I can share your screen if you
You can
wanted to. But we can describe it. I mean, in any case, when I watched this interview that was done with her, she's smiling. She seems to be really enjoying the attention. It's really despicable. And I think that the worst part about it is, he just asks her this direct question. He's just like, well, did he cross a line? And she never answers that. So it's very obvious. I mean, she very clearly made up a story, wanted to extort him, has no shame about it whatsoever, and is enjoying this moment in the spotlight for some reason. And
Like,
I think that women like that are despicable.
I think that's kind of what was it a Snapchat video or something like that that she recorded of herself in his
Mm-hmm.
bed?
Yep.
Just the way
And
that
she's
her
smiling
face
and
looked,
kind
it
of,
was like she was like, haha, I got him. That's
yeah, like
how
Amber Heard, with the video that she did of
felt.
Johnny Depp where she kind of like laughs at the end.
Yes.
It's pretty despicable. God, that case. I mean, I'm really glad that he's able to talk about it now, but I mean, he wasn't able to talk about it for several years.
Hmm.
And the whole thing was just horrifying to me. So it really shows, I mean, this whole false allegation thing is a huge, huge, huge problem. And I see women all the time just kind of like assuming that every man who is accused is guilty. And I know that neither of you ladies think that way. So I appreciate, knowing women who have a good head on their shoulders, who don't assume that somebody's guilty without evidence.
I think I always play the devil's advocate. So whoever, it doesn't matter situation. I'm always going to look for ways to punch holes in the narrative. But yeah, I mean, you have to give people the benefit of the doubt because at some point it could be you, and
Exactly.
nobody can escape it. You run into a situation with cops, you're arrested. Like, no one is above it. It doesn't matter who you are.
Exactly. A lot of people think that just if you're innocent, you don't have anything to worry about. And I know
That's
that,
not it.
you're an attorney, that's not true.
That's not it.
No, unfortunately, a lot of innocent people get kind of put in the crosshairs. And if there's a mob mentality, if society decides, that you are the sacrificial lamb, it doesn't really matter what the truth is. It matters, what people think of you. So it could have really bad political timing, etc. I wanted to bring up, we have a super chat from,
How about that?
trying to see who this person is. This is Vake, VAKE. You're awesome, Chandler. Thanks for all you do. Thank you for the $9.99 super chat. I truly appreciate it. It's really nice seeing new faces around here. I'm still kind of like building my audience, and I see new people all the time. So I'm very happy to have everybody watching with us in chat. We've got Bush McFadden. Nice to have you. We have E-Spirit Fleck, and I don't know who Rocky the Black Dragon is, but it's nice to meet you. Let's see, we've got Mike Likes Tacos.
So I'm such a child. Sorry.
What did he
No,
say?
some people have really great names.
Mike likes tacos. Yes, he's awesome. I was looking for that video, so hold on. guess I send a lot of tweets out. Apparently, it's a little
Oh yeah.
weird.
I was gonna say, Sally, you've been on my feed quite a bit lately.
Because you have intelligent things to say.
The algorithm shows me Sally.
Awesome. Yeah, I see your stuff too. I don't know. I try to. I know everyone says that Twitter is such a bad place and it's evil, destroys you, and I think that you have the ability to control who you interact with, right? Like
Mhm.
you don't have to interact to the troll if you want to because you're having fun with it, whatever. But you can control that and your
Oh, that's
attitude
true. I
towards it.
use the mute button quite frequently.
Yeah.
I've blocked a ton of mostly Amber Heard people when I was first using Twitter because I had this situation. I tweeted something that I got ratioed pretty hard. I got quote tweeted. I said like nice things about men, and a bunch of feminists apparently had a big problem with
That'll do it.
So I got like 2,500 likes but 5,000 retweets, and it got to like the BTS crew where they were all like taking the format of my tweet and then inserting, talking about like whatever BTS member was their favorite. So, but I got a lot of really angry death threats from a lot of hateful feminists who thought that it wasn't okay to say nice things about men. So I've blocked like 800 Amber Heard supporters on my Twitter.
Typically try not to block anybody, but sometimes you just have to. I mean, if you're getting like death threats, people are unhinged. They deserve a
They
block.
are. Usually it doesn't amount to anything, but some people can be a little scary. So be careful on the internet.
Yeah.
I think I found this. I just gotta figure out. Okay, make it to where you can see it. All right. Okay. StreamYard. Do I just do share screen or present? Present share
Yeah,
screen.
Yeah.
if you share your screen, then I can pull it up and show everybody.
Sally got her room all set up, so nice.
Oh, thank you.
Kicked her kid out, and
Well, I haven't done it yet. This is my
that's right. Okay.
this is my other this I do eyelash extensions, and so this is my eyelash room slash my work. So yeah, now I've got to redo it. I got it set up, and now I've got to move everything again, which is going to be pain. Did that share with you? Oh, there we go. Let's see if that goes.
It
Oh,
should.
it's not. Okay, well, I was trying to share it. Okay, you'll have to just see that. You will be able to load it up. All right, there's my screen. Can you see it?
Ah, there we go. Yes. Let's pull this up. Thank you for your help. Yeah,
Let's read
I
Sally's
really, like I
messages.
said,
I have all
New
kinds of crazy
laptop
stuff like
notes.
this, so. Do I have to push play?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
you're waiting for me. Oh, I'm sorry. See, this
You
is
might
how
wanna-
new I am. This stuff.
No, that's okay. You might want to make it full screen also,
Yes,
if you
that's what I'm
can,
doing.
or zoom in, whatever works best.
Yes, I'm gonna do full screen and push play. Let's see.
Thank you, Sally.
Let's move this. Oh, I got to do it from Twitter. I can't do it from here. Okay, sorry, boomer.
That's okay. I have a lot of boomer moments. I think my very first stream, I was trying to end the stream and I kicked myself out.
You kicked yourself out.
I did. Yeah, I totally did.
Okay, let's see if you guys can hear this.
I like to slap,
Oh, wait a
pull a
second.
hair, and do this and that. Let's just be real. I mean, we all like to have a little fun. Did he cross the line? What happened? I mean, how does it go from kind of playful, fun stuff to assault? What can you say, and how can you describe the situation?
Yeah, it's actually something, for 2.5 testifying on and, explaining things away. Every text message, the video, it all has an explanation.
Well, those text messages are bad, though. Lindsay, you keep bringing the text, and I don't even want to, totally kill you on these texts, but as a person that, listen, these texts, let's look at right here. What does that mean? Next victim star pitcher for the Dodgers. That's text one. That's kind of bad, Lindsay. What is that? I mean, I know you're saying this is no context, and I'm sure you're being sarcastic. I'm guessing. I mean, but what the hell does
She
that
looks
mean?
so uncomfortable.
Yeah, and
Yep.
this is, exactly
It's hard to be
what Trevor
confronted
wanted
with
to do,
your
is
lies.
Random pick 3 or 4 texts and weave it into
Listen
a
to her.
narrative where I just look horrible. But so, when I explained that and in my deposition and different things, I'm like you. I like to joke. I'm very sarcastic, sometimes inappropriate. Anyone who knows me will know that. And these are private, text messages with my friends. And agreed, victim is not the word there. But what I, my past, I've been involved with other baseball players. That was my world at the time. And it was a funny way, I had already dated.
So all those guys are watching. I watch Body Language a lot. look at like her lips and like her facial expressions, you can tell that she is not being truthful. Like if you pay attention to the way she's speaking, holding her head. I don't know if you guys see that.
I think she just
players.
looks
It was
incredibly
a funny,
awkward.
sarcastic way to say, "Oh, here's the next one," that I'm gonna try to get attention from. And it was a lot of ego and attention-seeking behavior, which is what I can own, and what he can't do is own any part. But I can totally own the attention-seeking behavior. But these texts, in a grand scheme, don't address what happened at all. This was before any of our interaction.
What do you guys think about that right there? Do you want me just to play it all the way through and then talk about it?
Can you rewind it just a little bit? Because I can't I'm having trouble hearing her.
Well, maybe I need to turn up on my, I got to turn my computer up on my end. Maybe. Hold on. So many things to have to do. I'm at 100%, so it's not my end. Okay, let's try this.
On the attention-seeking behavior. But these texts, in a grand scheme, don't address what happened at all. This was before any of, our interactions or anything like that.
So what happened though? So in the next
Sounds like
text,
a plan.
I need daddy to choke me out. Then the third one, it says being an absolute whore to try to get in on his 51 million. And I have to be honest, when I read these text messages, I get a little sexually aroused. But I think that's just because I'm insane. But what happened? He choked you out. He beat you up because in that one video you were smiling after it. So and you sent me that one phone call that we can't play. He did admit that he hit you in the phone call. He said that. He said yeah, but he said it was consensual. So it's like. I mean, he said, she said at this point, right? So what happened in your opinion?
Totally. I think there's several points I can hit on. Those other text messages just to address those other horrible ones that are just horrifying to be read out loud to. But I think.
Oh yeah, I had my volume down on the actual Twitter. I turned up the thing on my. Were you guys able to hear that? Okay.
For the most part.
Yeah, it was a little quiet, but I just think that overall, well, he's an interesting interviewer, Alex Stein. That's the first time that I have seen him before. I'm not really familiar with his stuff. I don't know if I could interview somebody like her. I think I'd be too angry, honestly.
I think I would enjoy it.
Yeah? What would you ask her? I'm curious.
I probably would have followed up with, I mean, it was before, so it sounds like it was a plan. Like, just
Right.
I would dig into that a lot more. Calculated. Yes.
It was very calculated. It's like, how can I? Did you see his original video? Lady Law, his video that he released.
That he posted the other day. Yeah.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Oh wait.
I don't
Are you
think
talking about Trevor?
the original from Trevor Bauer, you mean?
Yes, I did see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I can pull up any videos on my end if you guys want to share with the audience. I don't know who else seen it or wants to see it, or not. But it was very interesting. I don't know. Okay, go ahead, you guys.
Oh no, you're fine.
I think that she should be charged criminally. I think it's horrifying what she did, and I don't understand how she can
Well-
just go on with her life now.
I mean, women aren't going to stop doing shady shit until they are held accountable. But at the same time, you have to kind of balance that with, will it prevent women from coming forward? So you have to find that balance. And I don't know how to do that.
Well, that is a really big challenge. I do think that men like Trevor Bauer deserve justice because it's very overt that she was essentially, engaged in a very intentional scheme. I mean, there was mens rea, there was actus reus, there was a crime committed there. She schemed against him. She conspired with another baseball player. That was, the text message that she sent was to some other guy that I don't know if she'd been hooking up with him.
Girl.
No, it was another baseball player. This other dude who apparently, I don't know if he had it out for Trevor. I don't know what the deal was. I don't know if they, the two of them were dating, but she was very open about her plan with this other guy, and he's named and he's known. And, I really, don't understand how she can just walk free and then make money, making appearances or doing interviews with anybody. That just infuriates me because she tried to ruin his life and she knew the consequences. I mean, what do you think?
Did Trevor, did he get a settlement amount Did he get a judgment?
They agreed to walk away without paying anybody any money, essentially. But he had to obviously shell out a lot for lawyers. So
Yeah.
I had
She
somebody
wanted to
ask me,
settle.
you know, what's that?
She wanted a settlement money. Her whole goal was to bring these charges, not go to court, have to prove anything. Her whole goal was that he was going to say, I'll just give you the money to make this go away. And he, good for him, refused to pay. He's like, I'm not going to settle. I didn't do this. I'm not giving her a dime. So that's why now he's in Japan playing there.
Right. He said not a single cent, and you know, and like, and unfortunately, he was able to walk away from it not having paid her, but he did have to shell out a lot of money for lawyers. I would. I don't know. I had somebody ask me, you know, what do you think that somebody like this deserves? I wanted to share. We have Nicholas Staroff in the chat. Welcome, Nicholas. He says Friday
Drunk and
night.
available.
I am how I met my girlfriend, drunk and available. Thank you, Nicholas. Nicholas has been doing another stream. I think there might have been a little bit of overlap. I want to figure out how to direct you to Nicholas if he's still streaming. But you guys, I am so tired. It has been such a long week. I am, and I've never. I'm not really sure how to do that. So I might be able to figure it out. And then we also have another super chat from Damien Gershwin for $2. Thank you, Damien, who says, thanks, Remy. Hashtag 3 teeth in chat squad represent. I like
was hoping
that.
to say it.
That's pretty fantastic. Oh my gosh.
I think there needs to be a law somehow put into place that if a woman, if you can prove that she falsely accused, and I don't think you should go out looking for, like, if there's no evidence that you can prove for without a doubt that there was malice, that she went out, you have these text messages of how she planned everything out. There needs to be some kind of a law that if you can prove actual malice of a fabricated lie, they should get the same sentence that guy would have gotten if he were found guilty. Like, I don't mean that go out and target all these women that bring allegations, but if it's blatant and you can prove it, I think that they should serve that same time that he would have served. And that might sound
Lady
harsh.
Law? Do you agree?
Sorry. No, I don't disagree.
I'm of that mentality.
I don't know how you would go about making a law, because there are real victims, and it's really hard. And that's why rape survivors, it's so hard for them to get justice, because a lot of times right after they're like, well, they didn't come out right away. Well, for some people actually go through a trauma response where they dissociate, they don't remember. The brain the body remembers, but the brain doesn't. So you go into a trauma response where sometimes it takes a while to figure out. By the time you figure out and put all the pieces together, the memory comes back, because the brain will shut down to protect you, because it's traumatic for some people. And so sometimes 5, 6, 7 days later, you're like, oh my gosh, this happened. And then you're like, go through this whole thing, and it's too late. They can't gather evidence at that point. Most of the DNA is gone by the time you take a shower. So it's really hard anyway for people who've actually been victimized to actually get true justice. And so you have to find a way to balance that. At the same time, these people who are lying and who want money and fame and attention and want to destroy someone, there has to somehow figure out how to make a law or write Congress. I don't know. This needs to be punished.
Well, you can be punished for filing a false police report. There is that. But
Yes.
I don't really
They
think it
both
carries
that.
a very extensive sentence.
I think
I'm
that's
not
why
sure.
that's why there's the civil remedy. That's really your only option.
So what would the civil remedy be? I'm actually really not sure how one would go about it. Like, do you know of a legal remedy that can be filed in a case like that?
Well, I guess you could possibly do like a defamation claim. If she's saying that he, assaulted her and, clearly ruined his reputation and his ability to make money, trying to think of anything else that he could claim.
Well, Saeed
Just having
was
money.
talking about he was
Well,
talking about tortious interference, essentially.
Tortious
Like
interference with business.
I don't know how do you say it? It's tortious or
Tortious, yeah.
Tortious interference. I'm like, it sounds like tortillas when I say
Tortillas,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Spelled like that, too.
Okay, tortious interference, which, if somebody continues to, if it's a continuous effort to deprive you of your livelihood.
Right. I actually talked to somebody else about that the other day.
but it's something that I'm just hearing about for the first time. So I'm not really sure if I know very much about it, or if that's something that is a something that you can genuinely expect to get a remedy for. If there's a high burden in court, I'm not sure.
It depends. Like, I don't know. I haven't ever worked in that area of law, but I mean, you learned about it in law school, and that was about the end of how much I learned about it.
But if you don't have any money, like what I was saying, that's all fine if the person who's accusing you has money or some kind of a consequence.
Like property that you can attach to. But yeah, if they don't have anything, you can get, a judgment and maybe later attached to whatever they might get in the future. But you're kind of out of luck.
It's challenging, but I think that there are some suits like that, especially for public figures, that are really important because it's more about the statement that we're not going to stand by this kind of behavior as a society. That that this person has a right to a remedy, they have a right to sue, and they should exercise that right because they have been wronged, essentially.
1,000%.
I wonder, do you know? Does anybody know if Trevor Bauer is intending to to file any actions against Lindsay Hill or not?
I think it was part of their agreement. They were just be done with it.
Yeah, I have no idea.
They agreed to not, from what I understood, they both agreed to not pay anybody any money, be done, and walk away, but be able to talk openly about it because he hasn't been able to talk about it.
Well, it's a compelling case. I'm looking forward to seeing how people respond to it because I do see a lot of people responding to it, very harshly admonishing her. But then again, you're kind of, when you're on social media, you might sometimes create sort of an echo chamber for yourself where you're seeing people who are sort of reflecting the opinions that you agree with, that you enjoy. And I tend not to look at the things that, like, perhaps like some feminists might be saying, oh, well, she definitely was assaulted and she definitely deserved blah, blah, blah. I haven't really seen any statements in favor of her, but they might be out there.
I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are.
I don't know how you could support a woman like that.
Well, there's still, but the thing is like when a guy gets accused of these things, so take Russell Brand, take Johnny Depp, he lost his voice, he lost his platform, he was unpersoned, right? He couldn't just go on some guy's show and tell his side of the story because nobody would even host him and have him on, right? This girl's already has a platform to tell her side, and he has a big audience. So they're still platforming her and giving her an audience, whether gets hate mail on Twitter or X or whatever, she's still having revenue. She still can make money from whatever she's doing, which I think is wrong.
Yeah,
so she can make money off of her false allegation. The fact that she tried to ruin this guy's life, she can profit from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think it's wrong.
I agree. But it unfortunately reflects our culture because if you are good looking, people will tend to, want to hear your side. You heard the way that he interviewed her, and I don't know Alex Stein, and I'm not going to criticize him, but he was, absolutely simping for her and, treating her as though, maybe it was a misunderstanding or maybe something really went wrong. I know he was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, but it was a little offensive to me to see a man, kind of sucking up to this woman who obviously tried to do it. One of the most despicable things you can do to a man.
But what's the best way to get her to talk?
Agreed.
You know what I mean? Like, that's how you're going to get her to spill the beans. Like, get her to trust you.
I agree.
That's fair. That's a good point. I guess, like I said, I don't know him. So, if he's playing a part, if he's trying to, evoke a certain kind of reaction, I can respect that. There's just some aspect of it feels unsavory to me. But I also want to see, what kind of person this is and what she has to say for herself. It pretty much confirms everything that I thought. I don't look at her and go, oh, there's another side to this story. It's like, no, this bitch definitely lied. She definitely, is not ashamed of herself. Like, I'm glad to see it, but, it's grotesque. It's annoying.
I'd love to see more. I'd love to look at the court records and things like that.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Oh, I'd love to see if I could get that. But, I think it was mostly just mediation, so I'm not sure if we can access that.
No.
I'm not totally sure. So Mike Likes Tacos clarifies and says Alex is always playing a part, which I'll have to watch more of his content and familiarize myself with him. Sometimes and I'm having incredibly laggy internet.
What was that?
My internet is lagging really significantly, and I want to apologize because you guys are excellent guests, and I'm so happy to have you on, but I'm having really weird tech problems. My internet keeps kind of going in and out, so I hope my audio is okay.
You're fine.
Yeah, you're okay on my end.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're fine on my end. You know me, I'll just tell you openly
Well,
if it sucks.
okay, good. I'm glad to know. Yeah, because sometimes chat won't say anything, and I appreciate when you let me know, but I really just need to get better equipment, so I'm going to be working on that.
Well, if they
Um,
would give you more money, like Super Chat Chandler, let's get her a good setup.
That would be fantastic. I mean, I always appreciate the super chats. You guys are incredibly generous. It's really sweet. It's been very exciting being monetized because getting super chats is like I'm like, oh, I have super chats to read, and I've watched so many people read super chats through LodTube that I just have kind of the script in my head.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. But speaking of getting monetized, where are your channels at, and tell us more about where to find you, just for anybody who missed the first part of the stream.
You guys, my channel is so sad.
Well, tell us
So
about it,
sad.
Lady Law. Tell us
There's
about
like
how sad
60
it is.
something people there. But like I said,
That's not bad.
I haven't started streaming on my own. I've hopped on here and there with different people. I plan to focus a lot on addiction issues. Um, for those who have seen me or haven't seen me, whatever. My oldest son battles addiction. Um, we ran into a lot of issues with him as far as trying to find somewhere to get him into treatment, the cost of getting him into treatment, then not having the structure of anywhere for him to go when he got out of treatment. I 100% will never believe that jail is the place for people with addiction issues. So that's kind of the topics that I will probably cover once I do start streaming, as well as some law stuff and, just random whatever floats my boat for the day. But my channel is the Law Lounge with Lady Law, or you can find me on Twitter at Lady Law 5791.
Excellent.
All
I'm
right.
really looking forward to your content. I'm really glad that you're here. And
Sounded like a
so,
safe. That sounded like a safe space. I'm really glad
yeah,
you're here.
I am. No, I mean it.
Sally's waiting for us to be done.
I don't know. I don't know if I was. I'm not. I'm fine. I didn't know if I was. You want me to talk or just stay here because I did my spill at the beginning. No, I'm just
No, I'd
talking
love
with
to.
Sally.
For anybody who missed the beginning, yeah, go ahead.
You got a grift, Sally. Grift.
Grift.
Do
I
it.
am
Do it.
talking with Sally. I am monetized on Rumble. You can send me Rumble rants when I stream. I do all of my political stuff there and my like World War II stuff there because I don't have to worry about things. I can just speak freely. YouTube is more just my fun, random stuff, like gardening. I do like coins. I go over like really old coins and what makes them valuable. So like a penny that could be worth $1 million, what makes them do that? Anyway, so I'm kind of a nerd. And then I'm on Twitter. And then on Twitch, I do watch parties almost every night. I'm now officially taking Tuesday nights and Friday nights off, unless I get a wild hair and do it randomly, but that's my schedule. It's Sally P78, and it's chill, no politics, just watching movies.
Awesome.
So,
And I'm Chandler Remington, and you can find me at Remy REMY_legal. And I'm not going to be doing anything until I think sidebars on Legal Vices next week on Tuesday. I want to be able to direct you guys over. I'm pretty sure that Jeff is doing the all of the Melly updates, which I have totally missed today. Apparently, there's a lot of crazy stuff happening in the Melly trial.
I haven't caught up either, but I heard there's some wild stuff happening.
It sounded kind of out there. I really need to figure out who's streaming when. I honestly, I haven't gotten very much sleep, so I'm totally disorganized and tired today. But I did my best, and I'm so happy that you guys both came on, and I really appreciate you being a part of my stream.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us. We need to have a drunk stream, Chandler.
Oh, I would love that. I'd love to do a drinking stream. That would be a lot of fun.
that would be hilarious.
I might end up moving Feminism to a different day than Friday, because I feel like Friday is like maybe not the best day for this. It might be like a Wednesday thing, and we could do a more fun like drinking stream on Friday.
It needs to be like you're not tired from a long week, where you can like bring the power. But I also am tired today. I've had I don't know what's wrong.
Feminism is exhausting, and it's not it's not good when you have no energy reserves to talk about. So I might be reconfiguring my regular stream, but these lovely ladies are wonderful. Go and subscribe to them. Hit the like button. Make sure that you are subscribed to me, that you turn on notifications. And thank you to all of the new members. I'm really excited to be growing my channel, and that all of you are with me. So Yeah, I really appreciate you all, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. I will let you know on Twitter when the next stream will be.
For sure.
So, all
Thanks
right.
for having us.
All right, see you.
Absolutely. Remy out.